Season's greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Whole Home Show. I'm Tony Joe, your host here every week, bringing you tips, education, updates, and anything related to real estate. Whether you're in the market or if you're looking for ideas, things to do around the home, this is a great place to be. Our show comes to you with the support of our show partners. Denise Webster, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Center's Modern Mortgage Group. JP Sellers, insurance advisor at Westland Insurance. The Sitka Law Group for your real estate, wills and estates, corporate and personal injury needs, and Silhouette Home Inspections with Pierre Beauvais. If you need help or direction in your real estate transaction, give any of the Whole Home Show team members a call. They would love to hear from you. Of course, I'm your host here every week, as I have been for a number of years now. We're almost at episode 200, if you can believe it, after so many weeks. I have been selling real estate here in Greater Victoria since 1991, 30 years. I've seen pretty well everything you can imagine, but every day is a new day. So I do know moving forward, real estate is an industry, is always an interesting one because there's new stories ahead. I'd be happy to help you if you have the need for a second opinion or for some real estate advice. Give me a call. Happy to chat with you. You can find my contact information and the contact information of the rest of the whole home show team members by visiting cfax1070.com. Look under shows. There you'll find us, the Whole Home Show with me, Tony Joe. All of our contact information is there. And of course, you can always reach out to me if you like. Google Tony Joe Victoria, Prime Real Estate Team. It's primeteam.ca. That's myself and my team. Happy to chat with you. So it is, of course, the festive season right now. Merry Christmas and all of those things that make life fantastic when we're spending time with family and loved ones. And you know what? There are real estate stories around the holiday season as well too, and that's what we're talking about today. I have some of my friends from across the country to tell us about their things that come to mind for them during the festive season, whether it's real estate related or not. We have my friend Leo Bruneau over in Coquitlam to tell us his stories. We are also speaking with Ron James in Mississauga, who has been on the program before. And then also Barry Lebow, 53-year real estate veteran with a lot of history and knowledge. We're going to be hearing from them this week on the Whole Home Show. If you have a story that you want to share with us, give us a call, 250-414-6540. That's 250-414-6540. Leave a message, and I'll call you and we'll cover the story on a future episode. If you are a podcast listener, by the way, you can download all of our episodes on iTunes or Google Play. You can listen at your leisure. And with us now is my friend, Barry Lebow from Toronto. Barry, thanks for coming back. We've had you on the program before.
Well, not everybody invites me back, so I'm honored.
But hey, you are, first of all, you've been around for a while. If I'm correct, I think this is 52 years for you, right? 53. Of course, people love hearing stories about real estate, right? And if you've been around the sun around the sun in business 53 times, you've got some stories.
You're asking for Christmas stories.
Yes.
And who better than a Jewish boy to tell a story about Christmas
of course.
in the Holy Land?
Oh.
So in 1967, Israel went to war in a 6-day war. And although my family came to Canada in 1910, roughly, both sides, by the way, escaped the Tsar and ran away to Canada, thank goodness, because we're privileged to live in Canada. I don't care what part of Canada you're in, we are a privileged people. We really are.
Well, hey, if ever there was a year to realize that, this is
really. Yeah. I've always been. I mean, I'm a proud flag waver. So with that said, I was a kid. I was out of school. I was thrown out of school in grade 10. I wasn't allowed to finish grade 10. I was a troublemaker. So I'm a 20-year-old punk, and I was a wise guy and everything else. Israel goes to war, and as a Jew, I'm not raised in I was not raised in a Zionist family, or we were basically a traditional family, but that's all. Something stirred, the Holocaust and everything else, because Israel looked like it was going to be overrun.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read the papers in those days, it looked like it was going to be over. So I ended up in Israel, missed the 6 Day War. My friends always said when the Arabs heard I was coming, they surrendered.
So sorry, you were on your own at this time?
I was on my own. I was
Okay,
a
okay.
20-year-old kid.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to Israel to volunteer to whatever. I thought I was going to work on a garbage truck. I always wanted to be a garbage man. And I ended up in the army I won't get into how and what and everything. And
well, actually, before we step forward, isn't it a requirement to be in the army?
I'm not Israeli.
Okay.
I was born, I'm a Canadian. I'm second.
Yeah,
my parents were born in Canada.
Yeah.
I volunteered. I went. So I'm in the army, and it's 1967. The war is over very quickly, and it's a peacetime. We're cleaning up, and I had a very interesting experiences. And I saw a lot. I saw more death than I've ever wanted to see in my entire life. And I've never been exposed to that. I mean, not at all. So I'm in Israel, and we have a Hanukkah party in Gaza, which at that time was occupied by Israel.
Yeah.
And we were in a place called Rafiach. Rafiach was a World War II British Army base. And there were 2,000 of us at this Hanukkah party, and it was Christmas Eve. And we're there, and we're having a wonderful time. And when we go to leave, it was cold. I mean, people don't realize it gets cold. There was actually snowflakes in the air, and people don't think of Israel and Gaza and everything. So there's snowflakes. Okay. I'm wearing what they call a bomber jacket. I was gloves. We're freezing. We're in the back of a truck, and I'm in a truck with other people who came from other countries, Australians, Brits, myself. I think I was 2 Canadians and what have you. So we were mostly English speaking. And the snow, and we see the snowflakes coming, and somebody starts singing Jingle Bells.
Okay.
So it's Christmas Eve. We're singing Christmas songs. We love Christmas songs. We love them. They're beautiful. And then all of a sudden, we hear pandemonium. The truck in front of us, loaded with soldiers, hit a mine. Oh. At exactly the same time they hit a mine, the truck immediately behind us hit a mine, and I saw it go up in the air, and we didn't. And the sergeant that jumped out of our truck just turned around and says, "Get out of here fast." And it turned out later, nobody got killed, but guys got really badly hurt, okay? Because the trucks were so reinforced that they took the brunt of it, but people got badly hurt because the trucks were flipped up. We didn't get hurt. And I'm sitting there, and we're pretty scared at this moment. And I sit there, and I'm thinking to myself, why was I spared? Now, I don't have this profound, I always hated, Tony, this thing where somebody is one of 5 survivors from an airplane crash or a train crash, and go, God looked after me. No, you idiot. That means in your perception, God hated everybody else and let them go.
Oh, yes.
Like, I don't have that perception.
Okay.
I don't have that perception that God saved me and punished these other people. That's not the way it goes down. But I felt something happen inside me that my life had to be more meaningful than just the life I had. Because obviously I was destined not to die, not to be maimed, not to be killed. I'm going to cut to 2002. I was in an apartment building in Kitchener, Waterloo, Ontario. And my client was buying the building. Something bothered me. Unfortunately, I have an acute sense of smell that actually gets in my way. I said, I smell mold. Something's wrong. I want to see the roof. I think the roof's leaking. I go up, get through the hatch, the whole mechanism ladder collapses. I land on my spine on the terrazzo floor. I was walking with a cane, not just with a cane like that. I mean, in front of me, pulling myself for a year and a half. And I have pain to this day. And I am one of the most thankful people on earth because I'm not crippled. I'm in pain, but I'm not crippled. I didn't go through an explosion. So something is guiding to say that something in my life. So my Christmas Eve story is that there's a destiny to be fulfilled. And my destiny is what I'm not going to sit here and start bragging, but I've raised an awful lot of money for charity in my life.
Yes.
And my
Yeah.
whole life is dedicated. Every time I make a commission, now my pet charity, besides Toronto Sick Kids Hospital, is Alzheimer's.
We need to take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll be hearing more real estate stories. Thanks for coming back. You're listening to the Whole Home Show. We're talking about real estate stories during the festive season. So let's pick it up again. Well, that's an amazing story, Barry. So that's
Oh,
the
the army was without a doubt. I learned more about leadership.
yeah.
I learned more about love and passion. I learned about who's the enemy and who isn't.
Yeah.
I learned not to hate, how to deal with staff. I had a lot of staff in my life. I'm not a big company, but I've had 33, 34 people work for me at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned leadership. You give people a job, you expect them to do it. You don't micromanage. You don't, and when you're angry at somebody, go around the block twice and then say to them nicely, "There's something we got to talk about. Tell them once and don't admonish." Yeah. The leadership in Israel, the officers were the first people in the front.
Yeah.
That's a leader.
Yeah.
They don't sit in the back like generals drinking, a gin and tonic and sending your troops. And I learned all this. I learned discipline. I learned reward and everything. And I also realized how precious life is because it takes a second.
So every Christmas Eve, this is something that comes to your mind. And
absolutely, I could see the girls that I was singing Jingle Bells with from Australia, like they're sitting in front of me. Yeah. They were the sweetest, nicest girls. I always wonder what happened to them. Yeah. And I'm so sorry we didn't have, email back then and everything to keep in touch.
Social media. Yeah.
But I learned so much. I learned about history. I had a very close Palestinian friend my age who would take me by the hand all through Jerusalem and say to me, and his mother was Christian, the mother or father was Christian, the other was Muslim. And he used to take me to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And he says, the Greeks think Jesus was here. The Orthodox think it's over here. He says, let me show you. We went down into basements and things we were in so many places we shouldn't have been. And the history that I learned and the people I learned from and the communities. And it was a fabulous time. I don't think I've ever enjoyed my life as much as that period. Yeah. But it was a peacetime army.
Yeah, got it.
So Tony, I'll tell you what, it trained me for real estate because you can wake me up at 2 a.m, point me, and I can clean any toilet anywhere in the world. Anytime. Yeah. It doesn't, you have no idea how fast I can clean that toilet.
Well, Revenue Canada thanks you. You do such a good
great hospital corners in my beds too.
Oh, there we go. Well, thank you, Barry Lebow. Barry's with Remax in Toronto, and as you can tell from his storytelling here, he is a very learned individual, and as I referenced, a trainer and educator, and one of the mentors here in Canada. We're proud to have you, and I'm very glad that you are a friend of mine. I love the opportunities that we have. Yeah.
By the way, I just want to tell you, just so you don't get the impression I'm a grade 9. I only went to grade 9. I ended up going as a mature student back to university for 14 years. So I took an awful lot of education. I believe highly in education, but I don't believe in the discipline of a high school. Shut up, sit up straight. Can't do that. I'm the wrong guy.
And actually, one of the things I want to sort of close on here for any, because of course realtors listen to this program, and I know a lot of them are younger, ones who haven't been around for a long time. I gotta say, I always enjoy watching Barry's posts of like your business card in like 1974, or just looking at the hairstyles of the day. When you had hair, right?
Yes. Hey, man, I had the afro, man, out to here. I went to my buddy, to his Jamaican hairdresser friend, and he's the landlord. Yeah. These 2 women threw me in a chair. This is true. They threw me. Said, "Oh, God, we're gonna get," and they gave me this afro. I was like, and my buddies go, "Don't move, let them do it." I stunk of chemical, and you know what? I kept it for 2 years. It was cool.
It's fun, and especially with you, because you have gone through decades of this business and this industry, and you had an appraisal company as well too, and on all of the things that you've seen. Some people would say that the pandemic has, has really rocked the real estate world, but somebody like you has seen several
Oh, this
rockings
is
of the real
nothing.
estate world.
Zero.
Yeah.
This is what we came through in Ontario, 74. I had 33 houses. I was 27. I owned 33 houses that I had under hammer and saw. I was renovating, putting them on the market. They brought in a land speculation tax, which you guys know about in land speculation.
Yep.
I got wiped out overnight.
Yes.
And they pushed them, and that was a conservative government with the NDP pushing them. Yeah. They pushed through that legislation in 3 readings without nobody even knowing about it. Yeah. I got wiped. I went from a millionaire at 27 to owing that. I was in debt $1.5 million or $1.4 million. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, come on. And then of course I see the sign wet. It only takes me 12 times putting my hand on wet paint to figure out it's wet. Yes. I still go back. Yeah. And I went back in the 80s. I owned property again. And what do you think happened in the
1982?
80s? Mortgage rates hit 1981. Mortgage rates at 21.5%. You couldn't give away real estate.
Yeah. And then look at this right now: 1% interest rates, or 1.5%. Yes.
Well, in Europe, it's 0.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's dangerous already. That's, if you read about the economics of that, it's dangerous. Yes. These low rates for borrowers, it's exceptional. Yeah. For lenders, it's horrible. Now stop for a minute. I'm in my 70s. I'm 73. I'll be 74 in February. Okay. My generation and older, we have spent our whole lives paying taxes, everything else, and we're getting at the bank almost 0. Yeah. We put our money in for deposit. We're lending the bank money.
But I think, the point that you're saying here is people today think of the banks as, oh my goodness, look at these discounted rates. They forget about the other half of it, which is the getting returns on investment, because you can't have both. You can't have low rates and high return, right?
When my dad and his crew were still alive, my dad's generation were my favorite generation ever. They were the Damon Runyon guys. These were kids. My dad was hustling newspapers in front of Maple Leaf Gardens at 6 years old. 6. Yes. Okay? Because the family needed the money. And my father and his sister used to change. One day dad wore the shoes to go to school, the next day she did. Back and forth. This is how poor dad spent his whole life running away from poverty. My father also, then my dad's on the record, there's a book. He made $3.5 million on one deal. One deal. $3.5 million as a commission. Wow. Commission, real estate commission. Yeah. So I know what dad was afraid of poverty his entire life. And I've seen what it's like to lose everything. I've lost everything more than once. I know what it's like to collect pop bottles to go buy your kids milk. I mean, I've been there. Wow. So, and you know what? No matter how bad it is, tomorrow you just get up. You have a pity party. It's simple. Everybody's entitled to a self-pity party. 2 rules. 1, never invite anybody else to come to your party. Number 2, make it the shortest party possible. Yeah. Tony, when I was busted broke at my worst, you know what I did every day? I got up, I shined my shoes. Yeah. I put on the best suit I had. I couldn't afford even a car wash. And guess what? I never hit the office later than between 8:30 and 9. No matter how late I was out at night, I was there, because you got to do it, man. Nobody's going to do it for you. Yeah. Mom and dad weren't going to die and leave me a fortune. I wasn't going to win the lottery.
Well, hoping that some of our colleagues in the business who are listening to this, or even our regular listeners, get a little bit of inspiration there and think about maybe doing something for 2021. And again, going back to where you and I started this conversation, Christmas Eve. Thank you, Barry.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Happy Hanukkah. Yes.
And Bon Natale and Feliz Navidad and all the other stuff. And it's a beautiful time of year. And unfortunately, it's a cold. May this be the only COVID holiday of our lifetimes.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Please.
Yes. Thank you, Barry Lebow at RE/MAX in Toronto. Thank you, Barry.
Love to see you, brother. Take care.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking more about real estate stories. Back in just a moment. Thanks for coming back. You're listening to the Whole Home Show, and I'm Tony Joe. Our show comes to you with the support of our show partners, Denise Webster, mortgage broker with Dominion Lending Centers, Modern Mortgage Group, JP Sellez, insurance advisor at Westland Insurance, the Sitka Law Group for your real estate, wills and estates, corporate and personal injury needs, and Silhouette Home Inspections with Pierre Beauvais. Don't forget to give any of our team members a call. If you need some direction in your real estate transaction, they would be happy to help. And as a reminder, we do podcast all of our episodes on iTunes or Google Play. Set us up and listen in the comfort of your car or at your own leisure. There's so much great information, 4 years worth of material and almost 200 episodes. We're having conversations today, stories during the festive season in real estate. Let's join and hear from our next guest. And now I'd like to hear from my friend in the Greater Toronto area, actually specifically Mississauga, with Better Homes and Gardens. It is Ronn James. Ronn, how are things over there?
Very well, Tony Joe. Very well. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, season's greetings. Merry Christmas and all that stuff. We've had you on before. You told a great story about cats and stuff, and people can find it on our podcast from before. Now, you've been licensed for a long time. What year was it again?
Long time. 1982, March 10th, 1982.
82. Okay. And if people were watching this video or look you up online as Ronn with 2 N's, they might recognize you as well from many days on the Marilyn Dennis show, right?
Yes. And Marilyn is from the West. She's a Calgary girl.
Yep.
Superstar. She was always incredibly generous, very warm with me over the 3 years I spent, as a real estate expert on her show.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, it goes without saying, I mean, when you've been in the business for this long, there's lots of stories. You've got a story to tell us.
I do. So one instantly came to mind for me. I met a man, his name was David. And David, if I can, he looked like Paul Giamatti, if you're familiar with the actor.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So, and David was a bean counter. He was in accounting or a controller with a company at this point. And he was a pretty buttoned down, just the facts, just the numbers kind of guy. And I had met David on a referral. He wasn't sure what his plans were going to be related to housing. We had a couple of preliminary meetings, but nothing really serious. David wasn't really getting in the groove. The next thing I know, I get a call from David, and he needs to buy a house now. Like today, he needs to buy a house. And you're like, okay, so where's the fire, David? Where did that come from? And I guess he had met a girl, right? So he had met this woman who he was smitten kitten about. She had a young son. David saw real promise in the relationship, and he wanted to wow this woman. He wanted just to kind of blow her socks off. Now, at this point, you can tell it's David's first marriage, because you don't buy every woman you love, a home. So David was diving in early, and he said, I want to close on Christmas Eve. I want to close on the 24th of December. So we got to get moving around. So we looked and we really dove in, and we found this townhouse for him. Nice complex at this point, reasonable fees. David could afford it. And David closed. And it's interesting because I spoke to David after, the big reveal. And what he had done, David had gone to this woman's apartment, and the son let him in. And literally in true Grinch style, he stole their Christmas tree.
What? Okay.
And he's carrying it like down the hall from the apartment, in the elevator, out the door. Yeah. He's literally putting a
probably with the decorations still on it, right?
Oh, everything is still there, right? Or hopefully. He wanted to open the door, and he wanted her to see their Christmas tree, her Christmas tree, right? Illuminated, lights and all, right? In the living room. This particular townhouse had a vaulted ceiling living room. So the dining room kind of overlooked. So it was pretty majestic, nice big windows, etc. at this point. So doesn't he pull it off, right? He gets the tree there, he gets plugged in, he goes and picks up, his lady friend and her son, and ta-da! And here's this magical home
Yeah.
that he and she are going to share with her son. So what a happy story. Like, this is a miracle on
Okay, so hold on. So is the house empty but
empty.
but for her Christmas tree?
David has no furniture.
Okay.
Like, if it didn't blow up, you couldn't sit on it. Like he had nothing. Right. And I guess his exuberance was, she kind of went, when they talked about, cohabitation at some point, keeping in mind that they had only just met. This is like weeks old relationship. And he's going for the magic close on this. And what better way than to buy your new girlfriend, a house. Like, you're going to anyway, might as well just start with it. So that was the whole push. So we're all like rooting for David. Yeah. Like the mortgage guys helping them and the whole bit.
How romantic.
Oh yeah. Like, this is a Hallmark card.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got a war story to tell. I've helped David and this woman, find their next home at this point, start building a life together, etc. So
there's more. This is not the end of the story. It's not happily ever after.
Yeah, it goes from Hallmark to Netflix for movie for consumption, a tale at this point. And at the end of January, I get a call from David, come list my house.
We were talking like days later, like weeks later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess David ended up going from hero to zero very quickly in this woman's eyes. And needless to say, her stuff, really never made it over at this point. And she did get her Christmas tree back, in case you at this point. And then David had really no need for the house. Like, he was devastated. Yeah. But I will tell you, in my own creepy way, I got to test some new language about advertising. So when I had started in the real estate business, I worked with a man who was 10 years older than me, but we started real estate at the same time. So my colleague had actually worked with some great language, and ours was Abandoned and Repossessed. That was the name of the ad. That was the title.
Okay.
And these were very small little word ads that were put in, and they got us unbelievable traffic. Like, we were so busy.
That's what people are looking for, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, we actually begged our broker of record to let us answer the phones on Sunday because there was no answering service. Obviously, there was no pagers, there was no internet. So at this time, and we were closed legally in the province of Ontario, you couldn't work on a Sunday. So we would sit in the back at the real estate office and handle these calls that came in about abandoned and repossessed. Well, we got known for this creative ad writing. Yeah. So when my friend David went to sell his house, I tried a new caption, which is, she's gone, he's ready to move. That was the heading on the ad.
Okay.
And people were apparently, our little he's gone, she's ready, or she's gone, he's ready to move was also a very effective ad. And we had over 250 calls on somebody looking at somebody else's misery. The good news for David, we did liquidate the townhouse. He got his, put his money back at this point. I think he did okay. I don't know if he covered all of the expenses with payouts for mortgages and stuff like this, but he did learn a very valuable lesson about buying women houses. And I learned a very valuable lesson about, creative ad writing. So abandoned and repossessed, or she's gone, he's ready to move. I got a million of them.
I love it. You know what? So when you're telling that story, what's going through my head is, you see these guys that buy the wife or girlfriend a car, and then they put the big bow on the car. I was half expecting you were going to say he's going to put a huge bow on the house, but the Christmas tree, that's a little, that's kind of creepy, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine her walking into this house and seeing an empty house and going, hey, that looks a lot like my tree.
With my ornaments and
Yes.
my Christmas lights, and what the hell is it doing here?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The things that we see in this business, Ron. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
We'll just take our last break of the day. When we come back, we'll be talking about real estate stories during the festive season. Back in a moment. Thanks for coming back. You're listening to the Whole Home Show, and I'm Tony Joe. We're talking about things that happen in real estate during the holiday season. So realtors do so much in the community. And with me right now is somebody who's really well known in the REMAX system, especially with REMAX Western Canada. I got to tell you, every time I'm on a fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network, this fella here, he's right front and center. He's done so much in his community of Coquitlam, Port Moody. I want to introduce you to Leo Bruneau at REMAX. Leo, hey, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. It's a huge honor to be here with you, Tony. And as you know, we've known each other both for a long time. And I think we both love the communities we work in. And I think, love the people we serve. So it's kind of neat.
And this is the thing. I mean, your catchphrase, Leo, right? Leo. Your logo is a lion. It's really cool, and you are the pride of the community. That's you. People know you as that, right?
Yeah, I've been. I think when you do something consistently and for a long period of time, it becomes evident and it shines. And one of the things is that I love where I grew up, and I love the people I work with, and just hanging with them. And it's kind of like, you're homegrown, and when you're homegrown, you just have a sense of community that maybe is strong. And I think with my family background, it just really made a natural fit. And working with others and being in a team environment has always been something that I've been passionate about, because I know I'm not the person that's good at doing the crossing the T's or the I's. So the group environment, the Lions pride, being born in August, I was growing my hair out for charity. All of these things came together all at once. And, now 20 years later, that Lion's been kind of in the community on a lot of food bank doorsteps and, community events and stuff like that.
So it's the Christmas season, and for those who are listening on the radio, can't see it. Leo is he's got his Santa hat. That blazer is amazing.
I wish I could say it was mine. I stole it from that. It's better than mine. I had to steal it from. I got good.
I can't even describe it. I can't even describe it. It's like patchwork. It's like Christmas patchwork. But listen, Leo, we're talking about real estate stories and Christmas time now. I have seen you in the Santa outfit. I think you and I, because I've, of course, worn Santa outfit a few times for community events. This is something that you do as well, too, right? And why is it important?
Well, I think that one of the things I was talking about, just being part of the community, when I was a little kid, I was probably like 14, not little, but as a young man, I ended up by playing Santa Claus through the church. And I played downtown on the east side of Vancouver, and I also played for seniors care centers. Yeah. And it just changed. Like, you really see Christmas in a different way when you're serving others. And I think that started as a young age. And then through real estate, when you were asking me about like funny real estate stories or crazy stories, it's just actually that Christmas has always been a great time for me to reach out to my clients and just to be involved. Mm-hmm. And a couple of the stories that we thought we shared today are in my brain, just really to encourage the realtors that are out there listening, and that it's okay to be connected with your clients and be in sync. You know what I mean? Like and Christmas is a time that makes it easy, because whether their faith is in Christ or not, Christmas is a season that is just about being generous, going out there and trying to find ways to connect with the people and maybe impact them in a different way. Mm-hmm. So I want. So
you were little, and you were dressed up as Santa Claus, right?
Yeah, it was the first place where I really remembered impacting me was at Christmas Manor, which is an old folks home that takes care of people with dementia and severe challenges as they get older. Yeah. And I just remember one lady that had no fingers, and I shook her hand and wished her Merry Christmas, and that's been in my brain forever.
Yeah.
It was like the weirdest thing, because it's just like, holy smokes, like, lady probably wants fingers for Christmas. Here's a box of chocolates, So just realized how fortunate I was from then. And then they would ask me to play Santa Claus just because I had a lot of energy. I play Santa Claus in downtown on the east side. And like, that was a crazy experience, because, they would rather have a bottle of alcohol than a shirt or a sweater, and they'd come back trying to trade sizes and all these things. And just like, well, Christmas was just, it's always something that I found myself like, even though I didn't think I had that much, just that I was way luckier than others, right? And so it kind of brought that into my business life, but it started, like 14, 15, and then just kind of the church ladies got me involved and just kept on doing it. And then it kind of actually became part of my business for a while, where I was doing potlucky. And I didn't tell you about that, but potlucky was a Christmas potluck dinner, and I had all my clients bring food that they made, and we raised toys and clothing for the less fortunate. And we did it at the bottom of my church hall. And I probably did that for like 10, 15 years.
You've raised a ton of money in your community. And I know, because I read your newsletters, I see your posts and all that kind of stuff. Like this is just, you see, not every agent is like this. So what is it? What is it that has driven you to want to do this? And by the way, because we have a lot of realtors that listen to this program, I'm hoping that there's an inspiration here for many of them to get.
Yeah, that's why, like I always tell people, that's the best part is it came through default, because very young when I started as an agent, agents weren't necessarily seen as the nicest people out there.
Yeah.
And
it's true. I'm with you. The thought is, greedy real estate people, forgetting that we are actually key people in the community, right?
I think being involved in the community was one aspect, which we talked about, just like enjoy fundraising and doing those things. But at Christmas time, it's just even that much easier and maybe that much more special, because it's different for everybody, but it's a real easy time where the world slows down just enough where you can say thanks.
Mm-hmm. There's that age-old saying, what is it? People don't care about you until they know you care, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that in my business philosophy and with my boys and the girls that work on my team, they always know that the client comes first. My dad was simple. And I think just coming from the position of serving the clients first, like if I'm here to take care of them and they know that, then they take care of you.
Yeah. And again, that's what you're known for. And it's not just within our franchise. It's not just within the RE/MAX brand. Again, you've always been a huge supporter of the Children's Miracle Network and children's hospitals, which of course RE/MAX has been aligned with for years. But you're at every fundraiser. You're at every it's in your being. Right?
Yeah, I think that I chose to actually, like, even with Ron and Matt and the guys that I work with, I think he just chose the right package that works for who I am and who we are. That pride of the community really is like, hey, I'm going to lift my hand and I'm going to lift it higher than the rich dude beside me to get that parking spot at for the kids' school. You don't even have a kid in this school. Yeah, I know. Isn't that awesome? And it's like, that was 20 years ago. Now I have a kid in school. Like, I don't think anybody's going to challenge me to get that part. You know what I mean? But you want to make sure like that sense of camaraderie and energy and enthusiasm is there. And I always find that, like, let's say at those auctions and things like that at least you're receiving something that you can then gift again. You know, like, and so I like to be involved that way. And I like and
actually, by the way, just so as our listeners know, you're talking about, so we have fundraising auctions often at RE/MAX conferences where, where, it's a fundraiser, raising money. But again, you're one of those guys that's always bidding for the stuff.
Stupid stuff. Yeah. I remember once I bid on 2 cats that were like stuffed, and I made my mom keep them at her house for at least 1 year because I think I paid like $300 or $400 for them. And I said they at least have to, before I, give them away. So no, like in our community, like for share for the food bank, and actually this is a great one. If you got to look at this and you can let you listen, spice up the holidays. I have sponsored one of my friends, and he's crazy. He's doing hot sauce challenges.
Oh yeah.
Like they did the hot.
Yep.
Okay. I get the last night, which is Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have to shave his head bald. And the one I saw the other guy that did it, and he yacked all over the place. Like, that's how spicy this stuff is.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's trying to reach in. His original goal was 3,000, and then he changed it to 13,000.
Yeah.
And now, he's going to exceed that. So, like, I love crazy stuff like that at Christmas time. And, so Yeah, Christmas is just a unique time where I think that like we're blessed. We don't have to shovel the snow. It's easy to get around, and it's a great time just to be with people, man.
Well, and you know what? The thing I want to close on here, because obviously I am a huge proponent of our industry, the real estate community. I hope that this program has listeners understanding more about the real estate community. The bottom line is we are ideally positioned to be community advocates because of our connections, because of the people we know, because of the fact that the people that we serve, like our clients, they want to buy into healthy communities. And it's in a way, it's one of our responsibilities is to be good citizens. And man, you are a fantastic example of that.
Well, Tony, I think just leaving on that note, I think that if you look at, if we have in our real estate board 10,000 agents, and if each agent took a corner of the community, it would just take a responsibility for a sense of where they live. You would have a real strong network of people that believe in real estate agents and come to their doors for security. I've had so much food and toys dropped off at me this Christmas already, money, just because they know that I'm a hub that will get it out there. Yeah. And I hope that agents do understand that the best part about Christmas is that people are awesome. And I'm going to leave on this story. I wanted to tell the Stinky Foot story. Okay. I played Santa Claus, yes. And I was playing Santa Claus for probably the church or the community, and I went to present offers to my client's house. And my client was fairly, what's the A-type personality, gold. You know, he had the BMW and all of the nice things. Anyways, needless to say, my socks were stuck in the boots because I was fairly sweaty as being Santa Claus, and I was short on time to get there. So I did manage to put a shirt on and the pants.
But you wore your Santa boots.
Yes, but when I took them off and I was at the kitchen table, I guess my feet were not so fresh and
pungent.
Yeah, that's the word. And I was like, there's something wrong here. And Derek, a beautiful friend, asked me, Leo, what's that smell? I had to tell him the truth and tell him it was my stinky feet from the gumboots that I wore playing Santa Claus.
Yes.
We closed the deal real quick.
Yes.
And he's been my client for probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I gotta be up around 7 or 8 transactions since then. Yeah. So in the spirit of Christmas, be honest with your clients, be truthful, have fun with them, treat them like they are a beautiful gift, and they will reward you when you unwrap them.
I love it. And you know what, Leo, there has never been a more genuine story. I love that. Thanks for joining us, Leo. Leo Bruneau, the pride of the community in Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam, Port Moody, and areas. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. And again, I want to wish you all season's greetings. Merry Christmas. Have an amazing time with your friends and loved ones. And I will be here for you this time next week.